и сега стана голям проблем. Uh-oh, okay, this one will not. Hello, today we are going to change the spark plugs on our V8 TFSI engine. In order to do that, of course, we need 8 brand new spark plugs. According to the part number, as always, high quality spark plugs, and we have the service manual, of course, and some basic tools that we're going to use. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is to remove, of course, the engine cover and set it aside. So we're going to start with the driver side bunk. First, we need to remove this hose connecting the air filter to the air intake. So we have some oil here, which is normal because the PCV valve is on that bunk connected, so it's always spraying some oil back in the engine, which is completely normal and expected. Let's check the documentation as always. And we start by removing this clamp here, which is holding those cooling pipes to this wiring womb, which we need to remove. So we need to remove this bracket here with a lot of cables inside of it. Beneath that are the coils, which we also remove, and beneath that are the spark plugs. Then we need to start removing these connectors. Those are the actuators for the variable valves. In order to do that, we get our wires. Let me just find them. And it's good to also have these two, which will be also needed. So we just pull out this gray part. Let's try by hand first. Okay, so it's out now, and we just take out this connector. Okay, because the connector is weather sealed, it's often very hard to remove it, so that's normal. Now we do it for the downside connector as well. It will be actually a lot easier if we remove this entire air filter box, but I hope that we can do it without removing it. At least per the manual, removing is not necessary. Okay, it's out. We push it and pull out the little connector. It's quite, of course, this is not a brand new car and huge part of the plastic parts from the connectors are quite, let's say, jumped. But we should be able to remove it, even by hand. Okay, this one is out. Next, those two connectors here, we need to take them out of this connector holder. Let's go it that way, and we push the top on the back of the connector, and let me check just in the menu if this is mandatory, but I think we need to remove them, yes. So we need to remove them. Okay, first one out. Now the second one. We push the connector and it's out. So it's 861 on the first one, and let's see if they are. So the one with the 861 is on the outer connector, just to remember. Okay. Okay, after we have removed that once, we can continue by also removing the variable connectors on the other bank. Come on. So we have unplugged all the connectors, and now we need to unscrew some T30 screws. One of them is right here. Need to be careful not to lose the screws. So it's T30. The second screw is right here between the last two cylinders, and it has some ground cables connected. So, and the second bolt, it's right here. And this should be only 5 Newton meters. Of course not. Okay. Two bolts, same size. And now, just let me put this aside. Should be able to very carefully lift. also need to remove this vacuum hose here that I forgot. And there is actually one more screw which is behind this plastic. This plastic stays like this here. And you need to, sorry, like this. And you just need to remove it by just pulling it out, and then so it's like a washer. And now this whole loom is actually free to lift off, and we need to lift it off just enough to access everything we needed. So we have the coil packs underneath. I don't know if you can see them. So we can start removing them, and let's see what's gonna happen. So I'll start them by hand, just the initial unscrewing of the and now we can start getting the ignition coils out. First one, I'll just get them out and store them in the same order like I remove them. Just need to be very careful not to, okay, those two here, this here. I'll just be careful in order not to damage them. They are, let's say, quite fragile. Okay, the last one as well. And now we have the spark plugs finally exposed. So let's get the huge wrench on and remove them. И сега стана голям проблем. We have soy tissue where we can way too easy remove this, so it will not be good to, let's say, leave it there. Okay, so we are currently removing the first spark plug. And finally have it, the first spark plug. Okay, let's proceed with the next one, number 2. Okay, so we've got our 4 spark plugs out of the 4 cylinders, and let's start to put on some new spark plugs. This time I've chosen the Bosch spark plugs from the series Platinum Iridium. So we'll check for how long they will last. If they last as long as the original ones, which is 60,000 kilometers, it will be very, very nice. So it's always good to start tightening the spark plugs by hand. This way we can make sure that we don't mess up the thread. Okay, so let's start from engine or from cylinder 1. Let's final check. Everything looks good. Washer is in place. So we start tightening, always by hand, until it's tightened. We'll switch to the torque wrench once we can't do it by hand anymore. For now we still can, but okay, let's switch to the wrench. We are tightening this to 30 Newton meters. That's what it's mentioned in the service manual. Okay, I think it's time to tighten it up. So I'll just do it like this. Okay, so it's, let me just verify. Meters good. Okay, so now we carefully remove our socket and we proceed with the second spark plug, and we will now do them all. Okay, so all the spark plugs are mounted and tightened up to spec. So now it's time to get the ignition coils, back inside. They seems lubricated. We'll just do a visual inspection. They should not have any cracks or defects on them. So let's start with the outer cylinder, but this is not the coil from that cylinder. Yes, we need this one. Again, visual inspection, everything seems fine, and we just take them or mount them over the spark plug. We align the screw hole. We take one of the screws, So now all the ignition coils are also mounted, and now we can finally start to reassemble this harness nonsense that we are seeing here. We start putting everything in the reverse order. I will just for now just position all of the connectors, then I will tighten up the screws, and I'll tighten the screws if all the connectors are well routed. So yeah, and we should not forget the ground wire here and the vacuum hose on the other side. Let me just show you. So the vacuum hose that we have disconnected here, we should not forget it. Because we do not want any vacuum leaks, of course. So let's not waste your time with all this. I'll just rebuild and remount everything in the reverse order of the unmounting on the disassembly. So one quick remark about those two connectors here, because they are identical, all four connectors, all two cables, they will go only one way. So for example, if we connect this here and put it like this, and then we connect this one as well, put it here, they will go only this way. Okay, this one will not. So that's for this side, it's completely ready. Just we have to put on this air intake and okay, everything is done here. Now we'll switch to the other bank. So just a quick words for me. The most inner cylinder on the passenger side, it's quite hard to be reached, but when you, for example, put on the key for the spark plug, it can be accessed from here beneath this wiring wall. So like putting the key like this, it's the only way to get this spark plug in and out. I just inserted the new one, and now I'll continue with the others. And we can see the car is up and running, everything seems okay. Now check for DTCs, but the DTCs should not be present. And we can see there are no DTCs apart from the exhaust valves, so everything's okay. The car is working.